Now, if you're anything like me, when we start talking about these things, what our motivations are, when we look up and we see government, business, society, community, family, husband and wife, or self, seems to be a lot of negative problems. Now, if you could point out one of these factors on a continuous basis every time there's a problem, you might have an answer here. But keep in mind that it's not always something external that's causing something negative. Now, the largest factors that I can think of at this particular point when I'm for decision making on a daily basis, media and government, television, internet, magazines, books, those particular types of things, and I think a lot of those things are tied into government. In most cases, it's for market flow or money. Now I'm going to skip who controls what because, there's too many theories on who really controls what in this particular situation. But I want to get to the self-motivating factors that allow us to progress every day so that we don't have to continuously worry about the problems that government and business are causing in our society. Now, some good motivations are facts. You take a look at facts. What's actuality? You mix in, of course, what you want to do on a daily basis, and you base your motivation on what to do next on facts. There are persuasions. Persuasion can come in many different forms. I think the most effective persuasion should always come from a family member. Love, respect, honesty, those are great motivations. But you're not going to see that on a continuous basis. Blackmail is another motivation. It seems like, just using a word like blackmail during this particular conversation might be a little off track, but on a serious note, blackmail is another form of motivation. And I think that's one negative form of motivation that may cause continuous problem. Ultimatum. Either you do it my way or you just don't do it at all. These are negative motivations, blackmail and ultimatums, but they are there. Now, I prefer to have my motivation be a woman. This is besides self, because without self there's really no reason. But to be able to do things for a woman and make me feel much better about what I'm doing. Now these are large goals that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just something small. Building a corporation is one thing. Having a family is another. She's going to be obviously best for a family, but the motivation that a woman would offer, or the person of the opposite sex should offer, I think that's the greatest gift that mankind could offer. A woman that thinks clearly on a continuous basis. 95% of the time she's thinking of something that is reality. Something truthful. Hard to find, isn't it? It's definitely hard to find. All these external factors involved, it's going to be really difficult to find an individual that thinks clearly. Communication, proper communication, in verbal and in movement. Doesn't mean that she has to be the operatic ballerina. It just means that she has credible movement. Because sometimes a man can take a dominant standpoint and be wrong. And due to that fact, if you can't read through that woman's action, which could keep you from making a terrible mistake, you could cause yourself several problems. So romance and a giving individual, somebody who really cares. You find yourself in conversations with people that really don't care. When you have goals that can be reality, you watch these individuals who have settled for nothing and see them telling you that they're not interested in your goals. This has happened time and time again. There's no motivation there. So I stick to the self-motivation. The problem at this particular point for me is this. I can't see why we've lost so much motivation for progression. Why this economy is continuously battering itself. Why in a courtroom we get decisions that are absolutely, positively incorrect continuously. Why businesses choose to behave outside of rights, statutes, and laws. Why society doesn't band together to stop these things from happening. Why communities decide to let themselves just fall, and why families fall apart. All these things start with an individual, an individuality at best. So what I want to know is, if anybody can shed some light on the subject, go ahead, post your name, post a comment, and I will look forward to hearing from you. This is Prentice from Cypher Productions Incorporated.